For more, we're joined by Rick Newman. He's the Chief Business Correspondent for U.S. News and World Report. Rick, good morning to you.
Hi, Terrell.
Stocks jumping 291 points after 7 days of being on a losing streak. What happened?
I think the stock markets and investors are conditioned to terrible news from everywhere. And instead, we got some pretty good news over the last few days with a pretty good start to the holiday shopping season. And we're hearing a little bit of talk out of Europe that maybe they've got an idea about how to solve the European debt crisis. I don't think that's necessarily going anywhere. We've seen a lot of ideas that have not materialized into real action. But for now, it's a little bit of good news. So I think the stock markets were pretty happy that we got a little bit of good news for once, breaking the gloom, if you will.
And we're talking about retail sales there. Right. How big of a deal is that to the economy?
It's a huge deal for retailers. As we know, up to like 40 or 50% of their total annual sales come in this last 6 weeks or so of the year. But consumer patterns are shifting, and I think we're going to learn some more later this year and in future years about how consumers might be changing their buying habits. So we did see really strong sales Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, and over the weekend, Cyber Monday, strong online sales. But the fundamental trends don't really support this. And by that, I'm talking about incomes have actually fallen a little bit from this point last year, and that's after accounting for inflation, but spending is going up. So what does that tell you? That tells you people are saving less and they're basically borrowing the money to do all this shopping, which means the payback has to come, and it's probably going to come at the beginning of 2020.
So in your estimation, is this thing going to hold up, or is this spending going to lose steam?
I think there's a good chance that consumers might lose steam and these numbers might not look quite so good by the end of the shopping season. It could be that consumers are doing their shopping sooner. They're jumping at a lot of these bargains that retailers have been offering. They're going for these discounts. There have been some terrific discounts. And they're basically saying, I'm going to get out there, get my stuff, and then maybe they're going to stay home the last couple of weeks or do more shopping online and be a little more thrifty.
You were talking about Europe earlier, European leaders meeting in Washington to talk about the debt crisis there. Are they even close to reaching a deal?
I don't think so. I mean, this is enormously complicated. I mean, if you look at what it takes to get the U.S. debt problem under control, that's just one Congress, one legislative body, one Treasury Secretary, and so forth. Europe has 17 of all of those things. Every now and then, the leaders of a few of the most prominent countries, mostly Germany and France, come out and say, hey, we have a new idea how we might be able to resolve this problem. Markets are happy to hear that, but markets are reacting based on just what might happen tomorrow and the next day. And I think the long-term outlook here is really very glum. This is a really tough problem, and this idea that they've come up with lately, there's no evidence that this is going to be more convincing or that they're actually going to be able to enact this any more than a lot of other ideas. And we've seen this pattern before. Announcements about a great new idea, whole thing peters out, stock markets tank all over again.
And some people would say,
stay nervous.
Some people would say, you know what, we're talking about Europe, that's them, that's their problem, that's not an American problem. You disagree?
Well, today it's their problem over in Europe. It's not affecting us that much today.
Yeah.
But I think it's just unavoidable that this problem, if it really becomes severe, it's going to cause a financial crisis in Europe. There's no way to fence that off and keep it in Europe. There's no doubt it will hit the United States. If there's good news about this, it's that this thing's been going on for 2 years now or more. We've had a lot of time to prepare for it. You would like to think that banks, especially banks in the United States, which have to now deal with some tough new stress tests by the Federal Reserve, the results of that will come out next year, that they're saying we really have to prepare for this. We just saw one firm go bankrupt, that was MF Global, related to problems in Europe. You'd like to think that other banks here are saying we really need to get religion on this and get serious about making sure this problem doesn't bring us down.
All righty, and we'll follow up with you. Rick Newman from U.S. News and World Report.
Thanks,
Rick, thank you so much.